All right. I am back again with another reading from the Tao Te Ching, the original, and of course, the parent version by William Martin. I want you to know that I don't actually read these beforehand. I'm literally reading it to you, and whatever comes, comes. So I trust that whatever is needed to land and whatever learnings and inspiration is all good. So, as usual, I will start with the original, which sometimes resonates and sometimes it doesn't. But then, of course, when I read the parent's version of this, it is very much in alignment with modern day parenting. So bear with me and see what resonates with you. I'm here on IG and YouTube. Okay, today I'm reading chapter 29. Do you want to rule the world and control it? I don't think it could ever be done. The world is a scared vessel and cannot be controlled. You will only make things worse if you try. It can slip through your fingers and disappear. Some are destined to lead, and others are destined to follow. Some must always make an effort, and others find it easy. Some are large and strong by nature, and others will always be small. Some will be protected and fed, others will be destroyed. The teacher accepts things as they are, and out of compassion, avoid extravagance, excuses, and extremes. Interesting. I am looking forward to hearing how William Martin translates this into relatable parenting advice. I will say that, again, this idea of acceptance, which is hard to do as a parent because our job, we're always teeter-tottering between this job of being the substitute prefrontal cortex for our kids and, guiding them and then allowing them to be their own sovereign self. So it's always teeter-tottering between those two concepts, which is not always an easy thing to do. Hence, it is what it is. All right. So, poem 29, he has named it The Very Energy of the Universe. Your children are not mere lumps of clay waiting for your expert hands. They are the very energy of the universe and will become what they will become. They are sacred beings. If you tamper with them, you will make everyone miserable. They will find success and failure. They will be happy and sad. They will delight you and disappoint you. They will be safe and at great risk. They will live and they will die. Stay at the center of your own soul. There is nothing else you can do. Okay, that was the poem, and I'm going to read his insights and then I'm going to share some stuff. It's a good one. Okay, my son almost lost his life as a teenager. There was nothing I could do. I remember accepting that he might die. I cried for hours. I got up and returned to my life and to my loves. Years later, he is a happy, strong, wonderful young man, all because of his choices, not mine. Okay, how interesting that I just said before reading this that we're always toggling between, being your child's substitute frontal lobe and allowing them to be their own sovereign self. This is such a tough thing to do. We went from, parenting in the past where, we were left out to play at our own device, like our own time and left to figure out life. And now we went to all the way on the other side of the pendulum where we're helicopter parenting. And now we're trying to find this middle ground where, again, we are understand and recognize that the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed in a child until age 25 to 35. So we know that we are that substitute for them when we're trying to guide them. And at the same time, we know that they come into this world and they are going to be their own sovereign being. So how do you manage floating between the two? Um, you know, uh, this is tough because a lot of parents want to have control, which is understandable. We have an invested interest in our children. Of course, we're raising them. And as especially as they get older, we have to weigh in and allow for and accept their own sovereign being. Okay, so if this literally think of it as a seesaw. This is you being the guiding parent, the parent who knows that they're literally a substitute frontal lobe and they do have to help with executive functioning skills such as planning, organizing, time management, especially if you have kids who are on the ADHD spectrum. Definitely that is part of your role. And on the other part of the seesaw is this understanding that our kids come into this world as their own sovereign being, meaning that they have their own journey to live here. Do we have influence on them? Of course we do. There are children. The more influence we have is the level of influence that we have is dependent on the strength and depth of connection that we have with them. And if you have a gladiator kid, that can be really tough. Or a strong-willed kid, that can be really tough. But I want you to think of it as a seesaw. When they are younger, usually we have a little bit more of this of a role in our child's life where we really literally are managing their time, managing, figuring this out. But as they get older and learn and go through life and figure things out and have experiences with friends and in the play yard and whatever, we take on less of that role and allow them to sort things out. And one of the lines I love to use with my clients is the moment we step back is the moment that we actually allow our child to step into their own life and create. That's a scary thought, especially when you know that, your child can, has certain habits or things that we're worried that they will not be able to be successful in life or in a friend group or figure out how to read the room or whatever it is. Um, this is just a wonderful reminder, and this poem is a wonderful reminder to allow yourself to teeter-totter between those two roles and really focus on letting go and accepting as much as you can. Um, with, of course, always being guiding and offering support always. So I'll give you a quick example. We've really let go of schoolwork with my eldest child who really does not like to be told what to do or sit down to do homework. We're really trusting the process that she's got this. And, we've been testing this out for about a year, 2 years now, and it's been going relatively well. Things are getting tougher because she's getting older and the grades are getting, and the work is getting more intense. So again, trusting that things are okay, but also checking in with her. And then, of course, always, always, always saying, if there's anything you need, I'm here. Okay. We're not going to do the I told you so. I told you you should have done your homework. I told you you should have been focusing on that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, okay, the more you tell me, the more that if you need support and the more you're open with me and honest with me, the more that we can support you. So I trust you. Even though you may not fully trust your kid, you want to be able, they should hear those words. I trust you. And if you ever need anything, please know that we are here to support. Okay, so that's a little example with homework that you can, I hope gives you some insight on how to teeter-totter between those two very important roles as a parent. And allowing your child to, live into their life and live their journey while you still can guide them. Because at some point you won't be guiding them as much. And it's important that you do your best to instill your values, always come back to those values, which is something that I talk about with my clients all the time. But of course, it's not an easy journey. But teeter-tottering between those, seesawing between those is extremely supportive and it can be hard. Take deep breaths. Step yourself back. So step back so that your child can step in. Will it be perfect? No. Will there be mistakes? Absolutely. Will there be some issues and challenges? Of course. But this is how we start to build resilience with our kids. This is how we build some frustration tolerance with them and within ourselves. So practice it as best as you can. And if you have any questions, as usual, I'm here. So please let me know. Hope that was helpful. See you next time.